Good evening and welcome back to the Conestoga Football Pregame Show. My name is Lily Warlick alongside William Balk. Today is September 3rd and tonight's game against Garnet Valley at 7 p.m. Garnet Valley will be hosting tonight's game instead of Conestoga due to Conestoga having an inconsistent water supply. This means TETV will no longer be broadcasting this event. William and I wanted to come on here to give you guys a recap of last week's game and to give you info about tonight's upcoming game.
Due to COVID-19, Conestoga was only able to play 5 teams last year, with one of the 5 being Garnet Valley. Looking back at the previous games between these two teams, Garnet Valley beat Conestoga 68-6 in 2020 and beat Conestoga 56-28 in 2019. The winning streak for Garnet Valley could end tonight now that they are going up against the undefeated Pioneers. Although, tonight is shaping up to be an interesting game, with both of these teams going into this contest undefeated, with Garnet Valley having beat Downingtown West 41-7 in their first game.
Speaking of undefeated, if you missed last week's game, Conestoga and O&J Roberts played at home. Despite the ominous weather, Conestoga and OJR played one heck of a game. Tragedy struck Conestoga in the opening minutes when O&J Roberts was able to run 92 yards for a touchdown on their first possession of the match. Luckily, Conestoga was able to fight their way back into the running throughout the game. Going into the fourth quarter, the two teams were tied 14-14 and were unable to change this during the last 12 minutes of the game. This led the game into overtime. Conestoga has not seen this football overtime in years. Conestoga started overtime off with possession at the 10-yard line, but seemed to be unable to break through O&J Roberts' defense. The wind seemed to be slipping through Conestoga's fingers by fourth down, but Jonah Stein was able to kick a 30-yard field goal, giving Conestoga a 17-14 lead. O&J Roberts then took possession of the ball on the 10-yard line and faced the same problems as Conestoga. They were unable to push through Stoga's defensive line. O&J Roberts had to attempt a 31-yard field goal on fourth down. Conestoga lined up to try and keep the game from going to a draw, and by some miracle, they were able to block the kick attempts. This led the Pioneers to a heart-stopping win against O&J Roberts for the first game of the season. Take a look.
Carson Johnson up. We'll see what happens. As it's up, it's blocked! And Conestoga will win this football game, their home opener!
After last week's game, we were able to get a solid idea of our starters for the season. Starting with offense, our quarterback is Calvin Shirley, running back is John Quincy, our 3 wide receivers are Peter Detweiler, Patrick Riley, and Jeremy Friend, and the tight end is Brody Eden. Our center is Alex Harris with Jimmy Materano and Owen Ritter off to the right playing as guard and tackle respectively, and Drew Marshall and Richard Diaz lining up to his left.
Now on to our defense. We start off strong with Brody Eaton and Will Preston as our defensive lines and Michael Austin and John Queasy as our defensive ends. The linebacker core includes Tommy Costigan, Christian LaRiviere, and Jake Allred. Chase Kelly and Peter Detweiler are our cornerbacks, our safety is Bryce Beltrante, and finally, our nose guard is Hayden Carbiner. Coach Diamond has some of the best players on his starting lineup, and we cannot wait to see how they do this season.
Coach Diamond certainly does have an impressive lineup, as we saw in the first game. After seeing this team play last week, we wanted to get an idea of how the Conestoga student body feels about tonight's game. The predictions for tonight's scores are a little different than last week, likely caused by the confidence the team gained after their unexpected win. A couple of students had Conestoga winning the game, with scores of 13-7 and 21-13. The predicted scores for a Garnet Valley win were 21-7, 28-7, and 21-13. It seems like there's no clear winner in the eye of the Stoga student body, but all of us here at TETV personally hope it's a Pioneer win.
We certainly do, Will, but regardless of the outcome of the game, it is sure to be an exciting match. Remember that kickoff starts at 7 at Garnet Valley. Just a reminder that TETV will not be broadcasting this event.
For Lily Warlick and everyone here at the studio, I'm William Balk. Thank you for watching, and have a good night. Rollin' ears.